This is a 10-month overview of the Evo 4G. It's real simple. I'm going to tell you what I like about the phone, what I don't like about the phone, what's held up, what hasn't held up, and my view of the phone 10 months later from when I got it in June of last year. I'm going to start with hardware. Okay? To me, this phone is unbeatable in that aspect. Okay? Now, I've seen the iPhone 4. I mean, that's pretty good hardware, whatever. But in my opinion, this is the best phone out there. You know, you could drop this. Actually, I don't suggest you drop it, but I'm saying it could take a beating. I think it could probably take a beating. Maybe I'm wrong. But it just feels like it's really well made. You know, high-end plastic, metal. You got the white back, the glossy back. You know, so I love the hardware of this phone. You have the 4 touch-sensitive buttons: home, menu, back, search. And it's interesting, on the Evo, I've never seen these little circles right here. Maybe it's like an Evo patent thing. Even on the Shift, it's the same thing. But on any other HTC phone, they take out the circles. So I like the circles. It works. It's very cool. Okay, I've had a lot of HTC phones. I had the Nexus 1, and it was interesting with Nexus 1, you actually have to touch the top, and it would actually work. So it was off. This is actually perfect. Okay, so I love the buttons. You have the 3.5 jack right there, and you have the power button right here, which you hit, and it brings up, the screen. So that's cool. You have the volume button right here, which is good. Right there. And on the back, you have the HDMI, and you have the charging port. Okay, so everything's held up pretty well. I've had this phone for about 5 months, and I had the original one with the black one, and I got this one because the black one kept malfunctioning, it kept rebooting, so Sprint was nice enough to send me a brand new white one, only because they didn't have any black ones in stock. So otherwise I got a refurbished phone. This was brand new when I got it. Also, let's mention the kickstand, which, you know what, it's kind of flimsy if you think about it, this kickstand. I mean, it's just like, if you don't put it like perfectly on like a real flat surface, it's gonna fall right over. So it's a nice little effect, but I realized after a while, it's just like, well, it doesn't really work that well. It should be a lot more sturdier. And as far as the camera, I love the red accent on here. That's still pretty cool. 8 megapixel, dual flash. Camera's very good, but that's more software. Let's see. And that is pretty much the hardware. So as you can see, after 5 months, it looks brand new. And I took good care of my phone. It does have a screen protector on it. You can't really see that, but it definitely has a screen protector on it. So let's see, what else? That's pretty much it as far as the hardware. Again, to me, the hardware is unbeatable on this phone. You know, I would say if you had between the white glossy cover and the black one, it'd probably better to have the black one, because when you have a glossy cover like this, it gets a lot of fingerprints. It gets dirtier quicker. You know, so it's kind of cool the way it looks in comparison to the black. It makes it look a little bit more unique. But you know, if I had a choice, it'd be cool if they had like white soft finish. I don't know why all the white is always like glossy. Why they can't make a white soft finish? That would be kind of cool, huh? But let's see. Anything else as far as hardware? Battery's pretty easy. The cover's easy to take off. I'm not gonna take it off because I don't feel like doing that. But it's about, I don't know, 14 millimeters, 13 millimeters thick, maybe a little less. You know, not the thinnest phone in the world, but you know, I can easily put it in my pocket like so, no problem. You know, I don't like to do that, but I'm just saying, you can do that. It's got about 5.8 ounces to it. It's pretty heavy, but not too heavy. I know there's phones that are heavier than that, but you can feel the quality of this phone. All right, there's no doubt in the quality of this phone. It's really, really good. I highly recommend anyone who wants to get an Evo. The hardware alone, I think, is probably worth it. Now, let's talk about the software. Now, what I still like about the phone is it's still pretty fast. You know, swiping is very, very fluid. What I like about HTC Sense with this phone is basically everything is right here for you. You know, music, all that stuff. You got your bookmarks right there, which I love, and then friend screen, which is awesome. So if you have a Twitter account or Facebook account, boom. That doesn't really go with the phone per se. It's mostly HTC products that have HTC Sense, but still, I was first introduced to this with this phone, pretty much. I'm trying to think of the Nexus one. I don't think the Nexus one had that. Maybe it did. I don't remember, but it probably did. You just let me know if it did. And let's see, what else? It's running 2.2. Now, what I'm a little disappointed with is that this phone had 2.1 out of the box. It got 2.2, I think, within like a month, right? Or a month or two. And then, you know, I mean, it made a little bit difference. The screen was a little bit faster. The battery life was a little bit better. But now it's almost a year later, and the Galaxy S is getting 2.3. I think the Epic is going to get 2.3 soon. I just like HTC forgot about this phone, or because the Evo 3D is coming out, they don't want to upgrade it until that phone comes out. Then they'll upgrade it after. Otherwise, people won't keep their Evos and might get the Evo 3D. You know, so you can have 2 phones that have 2.3. I don't know, which is gingerbread. But anyways, software-wise, it's still pretty quick. The one thing I do notice on this phone, compared to my other phone, is that sometimes it does lag. I mean, as you can see here, you know, there's a leap feature. I'll do it again. It's pretty good. Sometimes it does lag. Every now and then, I don't think I'll be able to do it here. But and when you go into, like, let's say, like I don't know, settings or whatever settings you go to, you know, there's still like a little, you know, there's like a little, I don't know, a little lag. What is it? I think more like a delay, you know. So what I noticed that is, like, when I first got the phone, I thought it was pretty fast, but the phones that are coming out with the dual-core processors, this one's on a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor. It's an old processor. It's been around for over a year. So I mean, it's still pretty fast. You can still play games and stuff on it like that, you know, with no problems. But I mean, there's a little delay that I definitely noticed in this phone. My biggest gripe about this phone, I would have to say, is probably the keyboard. The keyboard. So now you can see the keyboard that I have right here is, what is this? Better Keyboard 8. Those are the keyboards that I have. I don't like swipe. The touch input is okay. Smart Keyboard Trial sucks. Better Keyboard 8 is okay. Okay, so as you can see, here's the keyboard. There's the other view, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, you know, and it's okay. But one thing I noticed about the Evo in particular is typing. It delays, it lags horribly sometimes. I'll sit there and type and it doesn't keep up with my typing. You know, I can't really demonstrate on here because I don't have the right angle. But if I'm typing something, it won't keep up with you know, me just punching the numbers. So I gotta be like a little bit slower. And I'm not a great typer anyways. So maybe it's partially me, it's partially the phone. That's one thing I don't like about this phone. Is sometimes sending messages, there's a little delay. Okay, that's a gripe I have about the phone. But that's more of a user problem, like me. What else? The call quality has been very good. I had the other one, actually this call quality is better than the other one. I think I had a problem with the earpiece on the other phone, but the call quality's been good. I can hear fine. I do notice though, when I turn the volume all the way up, when I'm on a call, it does crackle a little bit. You know, you can't, you know, it kind of gargles a little bit too. So I always keep it on the lowest volume, like keep it on maybe like the second or like the third notch or whatever it is. Where other phones would be so low, you have to turn the volume all the way up. So I guess it's kind of a catch-22. So, but I never really had an issue hearing anybody, you know, on this phone. You know, sometimes I do, but normally, you know, I don't. So call quality I would say is very good on this phone. Not the best I've ever heard, but pretty damn good. What else? Battery life. That's what everyone wants to talk about, right? Now, I know when I first reviewed this, I said the battery life was really good, and some people saying that it had bad battery life. I thought you guys were crazy. Well, it's interesting, because to me with battery life, it depends on what you do with the phone. Now, I've noticed if I use the phone very basically, just check email here and there, make a few calls, send a few texts, I can probably get a good 24 hours of use, okay? Which is not bad, maybe even more. I think the most I've ever gotten, I think was like 55 hours, over 50 hours. And that was basically just not making many calls, Gmails coming in, emails coming in, you know, a few texts here and there, light gaming, that's about it. But the thing is, if you do use this phone heavily, like a lot of you do, which is fine, like if I play Angry Birds on this phone for like an hour straight or 2 hours straight, it's gonna drain pretty quick. And one thing I don't like about this phone is when you fucking charge it, right? You take it off the charger and you start playing a game, whatever, automatically you're gonna lose about 20% right off the bat. Maybe it's like 15%. Like it shows the green bar full, and then after like maybe 15, 20 minutes of playing a game or whatever I'm doing, it'll go like from here and go like that. That's part of HTC or their battery, whatever it is. Hopefully that'll be fixed on the Evo 3D. I don't like that though, because that kills the battery right off the bat. But if you're playing YouTube videos for like 2 or 3 hours, you're gonna have a low battery life. If you're playing Angry Birds for a couple hours, again, battery life is gonna be an issue. If you're listening to music for 6 hours straight, which I've done when I was on a train, or 4 hours, whatever it was, battery life is not gonna last too long. It all depends on what you do. Now, to me, in everyday life, I don't use this phone heavily. Yes, I get Gmails. Yes, I text. Yes, I make phone calls. You know, yes, I do check out my bookmarks on the internet sometimes. But I'm not constantly, you know, on the phone normally. You know, so on occasion I'll sit there and play Angry Birds for a couple hours or whatever the case is. Then my phone's gonna drain. All right. So if you use it really heavily, I'll say yeah, the battery life does suck. It's about 4 hours, maybe 6 hours tops. So, but that's all dependent on the user. And you know, if you have your Wi-Fi on, your 4G on all the time, yeah, your battery life is gonna suck. So you don't need it. I never use Wi-Fi ever. I don't get 4G on this phone anyway. So that's another thing I don't like. Maybe it's more of a Sprint thing. But I'm paying $10. 10 months later, guess what? I don't have 4G in Boca. That's an issue. I know people who have this phone have 4G and they're in Fort Lauderdale. I don't have it in Boca. And I tell you, when I had Fort Lauderdale, when I had this phone, I was in Fort Lauderdale. 4G sucked. It was slow as hell. I don't know what it is. If it's just slower in Fort Lauderdale as opposed to New York City or Los Angeles, but I wasn't really happy with it. Whatever. And how often you use 4G? I always say, you know what? It's nice to have. It's nice to know that I have the option to use 4G whenever it does present itself to Boca. So moving on to the software, everything is pretty fluid with 2.2, Android 2.2. I mean, you still have your apps here. Everything is, you know, scrolls back and forth. And I love HTC Sense. It's so easy to use, you know. And what's cool about this phone is, I don't know if it's this phone or HTC phones, but if somebody calls you, and somebody told me about this, if you hit the menu button, and then it will bring up like a display here saying like it'll call you back, or it'll put a message saying I'll call you back later. It'll send a text message to that person. That's a really cool feature. So if you're really busy doing something, somebody's calling you, hit the menu button, boom, you know, and that's it. So that's cool. I don't know if it's just with Evo or if that's with HTC, but that's a cool feature. HTC Sense. The signal, it's pretty good. You can see I get 4 bars here. I never really drop below that. Usually I have 4 to 5 bars. So I've really been happy with the signal. It's been great. What else? One thing I do notice on this phone is though, you can see it says Boca Raton right there. Sometimes it will just jump, it will say Boynton Beach, it will say Deerfield Beach. Guess what? I don't live in Deerfield, I live in Boca. Now it says Boca. So sometimes if I go to work, it won't say Boca, it will say Boynton Beach. I don't know why it does that. And sometimes the phone does have some glitches. Sometimes if you take the phone out too quick, or if you hit a button by accident, it will just bring up the camera automatically. Let's talk about the camera. 8 megapixel camera, dual flash. I think it's one of the best cameras on a cell phone. Very sharp picture. Not much of a delay when you take pictures. Could be a little bit better, maybe a couple of seconds, but very simple, easy to share pictures. So that's what I'd say about that. Now when I initially had this phone, I think I ranked it like a 9, 9.2, 9.5. I'll give it a 9 overall. I think it's an excellent phone, but now with all the phones catching up now with the dual-core processors, you know, this phone's definitely starting to show its age. But still, one of the best phones on the market. Definitely the best phone on Sprint. I played with the Evo Shift 4G, but you know, to me, there's no powerhouse phone like this phone. You know, so I don't know how the Evo Shift 4G is. I heard good things about it, but it's got a smaller screen, so it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit heavier, so it's not built as well. So not disrespecting the phone, I'm just saying. So my view on the Evo Evo 4G is it's an excellent phone. Am I getting tired of it? Yes. Do I want to get a new phone? Absolutely. 10 months I've had this phone. In dog years, it's like 30 years. Cat years, it's like 20. For me, that's an eternity. I never keep a phone 10 months. Ask anybody. I don't do it. But my intent was to get this phone, and whatever great phone's gonna come out after that, use my upgrade. What's great about Sprint is it has nothing to do with the review. If you become a gold member like I am, you get a upgrade every year, full upgrade every year. So the next one that comes out, whatever it's gonna be, I'll pay between $199, $149. That's it. And the next year I'll have a full upgrade. The next year I'll have a full upgrade. That's what's great about Sprint. And no other company I know that does that. Within a year, you get a full upgrade. That's crazy. So Evo 4G, yes, I still highly recommend it. Am I gonna keep it much longer? No. I'll probably get the Evo 3D or the Samsung Galaxy S2 that's supposed to be coming out soon as well. There's a Samsung phone coming out in June, so hopefully that'll be an awesome phone too. I wish the phone was a little bit thinner, to be honest with you. Because all the phones that are coming out are like 8 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 10 millimeters, you know, 11, and this is over 12. You know, so it's not like, I'm not saying it's thick, but in comparison it is. So it definitely shows its age and that capacity as well. But overall, an excellent phone. I don't know what else I can really say about it. My biggest concern with the phone is, you know, the keyboard, the lag sometimes, and I would also say the battery life. That's everyone's issue, battery life. Question is, if this phone had perfect battery life, would you think this is the perfect phone still? No, I don't think it would be a perfect phone. Would it be better than the iPhone? I think it is better than the iPhone. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how the battery life is on the iPhone. I can't imagine it being that much better. So that's my overview of 10 months. When I get my new phone, I will do a review of that. It will probably be the Evo 3D or some Samsung phone or whatever. But that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And this review was a little bit rocky, but you know, I don't rehearse. I freestyle. That's basically it. So Evo 4G, available now. I highly recommend you buy it, or wait for the Evo 3D, or if you don't like 3D, think it's a gimmick, then get the Evo 4G. If you want a keyboard, get the Shift 4G. That's good as well. Only difference is 3.6-inch screen and has a keyboard. So that's pretty much it. Evo 4G, is it for you? You tell me, and I'll tell you. Thank you for your time.